Welcome back. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and the state's Mesonet announced a new state-of-the-art system to assist with wildfires. First Alert meteorologist Connor Thompson spoke to the director of the New York State Mesonet about why this is such an important tool to have.
While the southern tier does not see the same wildfire risks as states out west, the risk is still there. To let the public know about the potential dangers, the state's Mesonet system, a collection of 127 local weather sites, and the DEC created a new weather collection tool that explains the risk of fire danger across the state.
The main goal is to ingest the New York State Mesonet data of the 127 station into a fire weather model and then output the fire danger rating and all of those indices about fire weather.
The project took about a year and a half to come together. Wang says that while only about 48 out of the 127 sites are being utilized for this project, every fire region is covered.
This is for the whole state. DEC has 10 fire danger rating areas, so it's available for all 10 regions.
Wang says the goal of the Mesonet is to serve the public, and she hopes they can continue to expand on data the public can use. She says this project was a collaborative one, allowing them to make something useful for everyone involved.
We are not just providing data, we are providing products and service. So this project took advantage of expertise from both parties and make something very useful for both sides and for the general public.
To find a link to the Mesonet website, head to this story on WBNG.com. Connor Thompson, 12 News.